Can you really live in Italy for 1500 euros a month? You've probably seen videos saying Italy is peaceful and perfect for retirees. But let's see what's real in 2025. I'll break it down. Rent, utilities, and I'm gonna even show you what a real weekly grocery cart looks like with actual prices from local markets. Because living in Italy isn't just a dream. I'm 54, looking for a real life in Italy. Good coffee, quiet mornings, and enough left at the end of the month. Feel free. So let's see if 1500 euros is a good number for a good life in Italy. When I started planning my move to Italy, I wanted to know, not hope, not dream, but really know what it costs day to day to live in Italy. Because online you'll see people saying they live comfortably in 1000 euros, and then there are others who say 3000 is not really enough. The truth? It really depends on how and where you want to live. I've looked at dozens of houses in the past months, from small apartments in Liguria to farmhouses in Piemonte. One that really caught my eye was a small stone house in a small village in Piemonte, and it was listed for 550 euros a month. It looked perfect. Exposed beams, mountain views, and a little garden on the back. But then I noticed one small line, heating GPL. And GPL actually means propane gas, heating by gas. And if you're not familiar with it, it adds quite a bit in the cold winter months when heating is needed. So after talking to the locals, I've learned that people often spend another 150 to 200 euros a month for heating. So suddenly my 550 euro house went up to 750, at least in the winter months. Then there's electricity, which comes to between 80 to 120 euros, of course depending on how much you use. Water might be 25 or 30 euros. Internet access 25 to 40 euros. And of course Tari, garbage collection, which you can't escape from in Italy. Add all that up and you're between 900 and 1000 euros just for your house rentals and utilities every month. And that's before you even bought a loaf of bread or had a coffee at the local bar. But here's the thing, it's not bad news. In fact, when you start comparing it to other countries in Europe or the US, it's actually very manageable. Life in Italy, especially in the countryside, can be very manageable, very comfortable, if you plan it right. It's not the €1 cappuccino which makes it cheap. It's a lifestyle. It's slower, it's easier on your soul, and it's the focus on your quality of life instead of the quantity of life, you could say. So when I say you can live pretty well on 1500 to 1700 euros a month, it is true. It's not a fantasy. That's with bills, rent, and even a little bit of enjoyment. An aperitivo now and then, or a weekend trip, you know, some breathing room. If you do prefer city life, let's say Torino, Bologna, or maybe Milan, expect to be closer to 2000 or maybe 2200 euros. But even there, you can find ways to balance. You cook more, you walk more, healthier life, and you learn to think Italian when it comes to money. In a minute, I'm gonna show you what an actual grocery cart in the year 2025 costs in Italy. Because food in Italy isn't about just price. It's about freshness, it's about value, and how the locals can stretch a little into a lot. Now let's talk about food, because this is where a lot of your budget lives. A typical 1 week grocery shopping for one person in Italy, buying mostly local produce, staple food and a few treats, I've found it comes to about 70 to 90 euros. And that will include your bread, pasta, olive oil, vegetable, meat, cheese, maybe a bottle of wine, a beer if you prefer. But let me show you what the cart actually looks like. This is from my latest market run in Piemonte. So yep, about 75 to 85 euros a week in a town like this one. This is something you can see, taste, hold, and that's why I said earlier I'd show you what a weekly grocery cart holds and costs. That's because numbers matter. Next we'll see where all this fits in the real budget and where many people overspend. Now, there are also the hidden costs that nobody really tells you about. The ones that sneak up on you when you've already decided to move. The first one I ran into, of course, was the TARI, the waste tax. It's what every household in Italy pays for waste disposal and garbage collection and recycling. The amount, of course, depends on where you live, how big your home is. For smaller places, let's say up to 70 square meters, it can be between 150 to 300 euros a year, and it's usually paid in 2 or 3 installments. Then there's TV tax. Yeah, that's real. Even if you don't watch TV, even if you don't have a TV, every household in Italy which has electricity pays TV tax. It's a small annual fee, which is 90 euros every year, and it's added directly to your power bill. You can't get out of it. Of course, you have the condominium fees if you're renting an apartment in a building, and those, of course, can include cleaning, electric bills, communal gardening, if there's a pool to maintain, and these can vary a lot. They can be between 20 euros and 100 euros per month, depending on the building. If you own a house, there is the IMU, which is the property tax, which you pay once or twice a year. It's not huge for a primary resident, but if the home you own in Italy is considered a secondary home, the price can go up to several hundred euros per year. And then there's something much more subtle, which is transport. In a small village, you will usually need a vehicle pretty much for everything. Groceries, doctors, I don't know, maybe a post office. Fuel is around close to 2 euros a liter. That changes like everywhere in the world. And insurance can easily run between 400 and 700 euros per year, depending on which vehicle you own. Add in internet setup, small home repairs, maybe replacing a broken appliance, and you start to see the real picture. These aren't deal breakers. These are just things you have to take into consideration to make your dream real. And honestly, I don't see them as hidden costs anymore. They're just part of building a real life, one which you can sustain for a long time. So when you put it all together, rent, utilities, transportation, taxes, you start to see the real picture. For one person living in the countryside in Italy, you're looking about 1,500 to 1,700 euros per month, easy. And as I said before, if you prefer closer to the big cities or in the big cities, consider between 2 and 2,500 euros per month. But here's where it gets interesting. When I compare it to my current lifestyle, the difference isn't just in the money. It's what I'm getting for the money. Because what you're buying in Italy isn't just a house and groceries. It's a different lifestyle. It's a different rhythm of life. It's having time for a proper lunch. It's knowing your baker's name. It's quiet evenings where you actually hear the church bell. You actually hear going through the trees. This is what you're investing in, not just a move, but a whole mindset. So yes, you can absolutely live well on a modest income, but the real key is planning, understanding the lifestyle you're taking a leap into. And that's what I'm doing, step by step. I'm sharing everything, the research, the real numbers, and of course, the mistakes. So if you ever dream of your place in Italy, you will actually have a map to follow. In the next video, I'll take you behind the scenes on how I actually am looking for a house. And it's not just price, it's a feeling. Because when you're building a new life, it's not just finding a home, it's about finding your home. So please make sure to subscribe, share if you think this can help anyone, and follow me. See you next time.